Hey everyone, welcome back to Pixel Forge. Today's video is a big one, because I'm finally releasing an early playable demo. I did not want this project to become one of those projects that only get showcased in videos forever, without ever letting people actually try it. I would rather put out a real early prototype, let people play it, and get honest feedback. I'm making this project alone, and from the start, my goal has been to capture the feeling of the original GBA Dragon Ball Z game as much as possible. Maybe this is not a 100% perfect recreation, but I'm really trying to get the feeling right. And that is exactly why I want to release this prototype now. I do not want to keep building in a vacuum. I want really feedback from real players, even if it's only a small number of people. So yes, this is still an early prototype. Please do not look at every single little detail and expect perfection already. It's not meant to be a finished game, but it's playable, it has a structure, and it already shows the direction I want to take. So since the last update, I added and improved a lot of things. First, I improved the menu. It feels cleaner now, more polished, and much closer to the type of presentation I want for the full game. I also added proper options, so now the project feels more like a real playable build and less like a just test scene. Another big step was building a real map. This was really important because a proper map changes the whole feeling of the game. It makes the prototype feel more alive, more complete, and much easier to judge as an actual experience. I also added NPC interaction. That means the prototype is not only about walking around and fighting. There is now a bit more structure and the world feels a little more believable. On top of that, I added a small quest and a small scenario. Nothing huge of course, but enough to give the demo a little bit of flow and to show the type of experience I want to create. I also improved the combat a lot. The fights feels better, the pacing is better, and the system are much more stable than before. And of course, I fixed a lot of bugs. Not only obvious bugs, but also many smaller problems and sub-bugs that were hurting the overall feeling of the prototype. So even this is still early, I think it's now at the point where it deserves real players' feedback. That is really the purpose of this demo. I want to know how it feels to play. I want to know if the combat is satisfying. I want to know if movements, attacks, enemies encounter, menu, and the general flow feels enjoyable. For me, the most important question is very simple. Can this kind of gameplay feel good enough for a full game? This is what I'm trying to answer right now, because after this demo, I do not want to rush directly into building a full game without knowing if the base really works. So after releasing this prototype, the plan is actually to slow down a little bit and listen. My YouTube channel is still small, so I know I probably will not get hundreds of comments or thousands of people testing the demo. But even if only a few people try it, maybe those few will take the time to give real feedback. And honestly, that's enough for me. If I can get a few honest opinions from people who really tried the demo, that will already help a lot. If the general feedback is good, and if the overall feeling of the combat and gameplay is strong enough, then I can move forward with confidence. And once that happens, I can start thinking seriously about the next phase of the project. The next phase will be building a real scenario. Right now, I still do not exactly what direction I want to take for the story. I still don't know which part of the manga or anime I want to focus on, and I still do not know if I want to remake something close to Legacy of Goku 1, but with better visuals and a different approach. I already have some ideas for how to integrate the story and the structure of the progression, but I do not want to rush that part. Because if people tell me that the combat system are frustrating or the gameplay still needs too much work, then I need to focus on that first. I don't want to start building a big game on top of a base that still feels annoying to play. That will be a mistake. So this demo is here to test the foundation. And to be clear, I am not saying the combat system is fully finished. There is still a lot to improve. But I do think we now have a very good base, especially for simple fights and basic enemies. For regular enemies, this kind of combat already works pretty well. Where I want to go further later is with boss fights. For bosses, I do not want them to feel like normal enemies with more health. I want them to feel smarter, more dangerous and more unique. So for example, if one day we fight a boss like Raditz or Frieza, I want that boss to have real mechanics. Maybe the boss can use projectiles, maybe the boss can dodge or escape pressure, maybe if you land too many hits in a row, the boss can TP out, counterattack, or break your combo. Because in this type of game, once you get a good rhythm and keep hitting the enemy, you often feel almost guaranteed to win. And for bosses, I do not want that. I want real patterns, I want bosses to force the player to adapt, I want those fights to feel different from normal combat. So that is not for right now, of course, but that is the direction I have in mind. So really, this demo is here to answer one main question. Does the core feeling work? If the answer is yes, then I can move forward. If the answer is no, then I know I need to keep improving the systems before going any further. And now let me show you how to download the demo. You can download the prototype from my itch.io page. Once you download the zip file, extract it. Inside you will find the game files. Make sure to keep all the game files in the same folder. This part is really important. Then just launch the executable and the demo will start. I also include a small how to play text file and credits file in the download. So if you test the prototype, please let me know what you think. Tell me what feels good, tell me what feels wrong, tell me what feels frustrating, and tell me what you would want to see improved next. That feedback is the most important thing for me right now. If the feeling is right, then the project can really start growing into something bigger. Thanks a lot for watching, thanks a lot for your support, and thanks even more if you take the time to test the demo. See you in the next update.